Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. And how do you do? And then my children told me the response for that is, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you very much. I'm fine. I'm fine. And how do you do? So there is your new song for today. Hello and welcome. We will begin at 10 a.m. sharp. So right now, I'm just waiting for you guys to come on. And if you can't hear me, this is only my second live. So I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know why. I think it's just that imposter syndrome. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just I just need to be confident. I just need to be confident and be like, I'm doing this. Here I am. I'm doing it. Hi guys. Hi Perseus. Hi Nina. And all this, I feel like right now I have a housekeeper, but in the future, I honestly feel like I don't want to have a housekeeper. I find myself very particular in how I like my things, and sometimes when when something is not exactly how I like it, I'm just like, I want to do it myself. I know it is a losing strategy, because if you want to go far, you know that African proverb, if you want to go far, you go with others. And if you want to go fast, you go alone. Yeah, so that's basically where I'm at. But I just feel like I can just do stuff. I can do it. My children are older. They do a lot of this stuff on their own. And training somebody gets tiring. It gets tiring. I'm tired. Anyway, welcome guys. I am very, very happy that you're here. I'm Kit. Today I'm on my own. And I just want to encourage you to become members of the channel. So there is a join button on top of, like, when you watch any video, there is a join button. If you join, then you get to support the channel. What that means is you spend money, you support my channel, you support the creation of these videos, and it's not a big amount. It's like $8 a month. And what that will get you are these live sessions, and I will be having lives with different people on all areas of life. I already have some members, so thank you for the members that I have. I am very, very honored and humbled, so thank you. And yeah, so by the end of the month, by the beginning of next month, all the live streams are going to be for members only, because they're literally paying for it. So yeah. So today we're talking about training housekeepers and training nannies. We're also going to cover a contract. I'm going to share with you guys the contract that I use, some of the values that I have in my contract, the engagement terms. I'm also going to share with you my house manual so that you can also learn from that. If you have a pen and paper, get it out and let's get straight into it. All right. First and foremost, let's talk about house manager training. And if you can't hear me, please let me know. I also want your questions in the chat space here. Send me all your questions. If you have questions on something, after each section, I'm going to stop and see if there's any questions and then answer those questions. First and foremost, your house training manual is a document. For me, mine is only 3 pages long, but it's a document that you can give to anybody and they will be able to follow how you like your house to run. So this could be your friend who's house sitting for a month, or a new housekeeper, or if you pass away, whatever it may be, it is a document that runs your house. Okay. And so I think I would compare it to like a franchise document. The way documents have a franchise, not documents, franchises have a document. Like McDonald's will always run the same way, regardless of where you are in whichever country. They will always put 2 onion slices and 1 tomato and 2 lettuce, or whatever it may be, to make the burger. This is this document. First and foremost, you want to talk about your engagement terms. How much payment are you going to be paying? And I just want to tell you and give you a heads up. In Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, and Kisumu, the minimum amount you can pay your housekeeper per month is 13,572. That's the minimum. So if you're paying less than that, you are in breach of the law. So it's literally illegal to pay somebody less that money. It doesn't matter if the person comes and goes. It doesn't matter if the person lives in your house. Okay? You have to pay them a basic salary of 13,580. In other areas of Kenya, the minimum you can pay them is 7,240. Then please note that each employee, and especially if they are a full-time employee, like they don't work anywhere else, they're not like a casual laborer, they have to have 2 days off a month after they have been confirmed. I think probation is like 3 months, and then after they have been confirmed, they have to have 2 days off a month with pay. And they have to also have 4 sick days off a month, like they're entitled to take the sick days. This can be like if they have a doctor's note, or you can actually see that they're sick, or whatever it is. This is not, you don't take the days off and don't give me proof that you were sick. Okay, so that's where it's at. Now, the 4 sick days that you're giving them is with full pay. Now you can decide in your engagement terms if you are going to give them any more days, and with what kind of pay. Half pay, no pay, that's now up to you. That's your prerogative. Now, you must also consider if you are going to pay them overtime. So if you require your housekeeper to work at a time when they are not supposed to be working, and we're going to get into that with the contract, you must pay them overtime. And how much will you pay them? So decide when you're hiring them what that will look like, and write it in the contract so that everybody signs on the dotted line. Okay. Some people say like, yeah, okay, because you worked overtime, now you can take a day off later. That's also fine. Just have everything above board and with a record. So if you're texting each other, that's actually better than verbal communication, because verbal cannot be proven in a court of law. And the labor laws in Kenya really, really favor employees more than they favor employers. Okay, that's just how it is. Are there any questions there? How many hours should they work? Good question. I think I haven't looked at how many hours a day they should work, but I think if I did a quick Google search, let's see, how many hours a day should a Kenyan housekeeper work? 52 hours every week, which is about 52 hours, right? So that's 52 hours every week. Let's see that. If they work 6 days a week, that's about 8 hours a day. So if your housekeeper is getting up at 5 in the morning and going to bed at 10, you owe them about 6 hours overtime every single day on top of their salary. Are there any other questions? Yeah, let's get going. Second thing in the house manual are the JD. You have to lay out your actual job description. In my house manual, the job description is taking care of the children, cleaning, laundry, and ironing. We don't iron like all our clothes. We only iron when we need to iron clothes. Organizing the house, cooking, and management. She has to manage the menus and the shopping lists. I do not write the menu in my house. I also do not write the shopping list. That is her job, and she does it all the time. All right. And then, so if you ask your housekeeper to do something that is not in the JD, for example, washing the cars or washing the pet, you have to include it in the JD. You have to include it in the duties so that she knows what she's signing up to. Let's say she has not signed up to running errands for you, like getting up, going to the supermarket, going to this, that, and the other, and you keep asking her to do that, and it takes a lot of her time and energy. You need to agree, like come back together, agree on what she should be doing and how much you're paying her for that job. Okay, next one. The next area of my house manual has to do with cleaning techniques and frequency. So now actually lay out, because this is a manual, you have to actually say exactly what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. You can develop this manual over a period of time so that you see what works for your family, so that it's a working manual. It's not stuck in, it's not like written in stone, it cannot move. So keep changing, keep seeing what you like, what you don't like. So for me, one of the things I've written here are the house, like the floor and the surfaces have to be swept and cleaned on a daily basis. I do not require my house to be mopped every single day. That is a waste of time and energy, and also it doesn't get dirty. So every single day you can sweep and then mop twice a week. When should the toilets be cleaned? When should the bathrooms be scrubbed? When should the carpet and the windows, the laundry, when is the laundry being done? When is the kitchen towels or the towels in the house being changed? The bathroom mats, the ironing, when are the bed sheets being changed? When is the living room, the outdoor cushions, when do these things happen? When do they happen? Why is your own prerogative? Some people like to change their bedding every single day. I honestly don't understand what kind of laundry they're into, but if that's you, write it in the manual. No thing is too small to write in the manual or too big to write in the manual. It's a manual. It's supposed to be, somebody can take it and run your house, even when you're not there, even when you've not explained anything. The next section for me is laundry. When, first of all, to do the laundry, which items need to be washed inside the machine and which ones need to be washed outside of the machine. There's like delicate hand, like beaded things, or like things with glitter, or like things that run the color, they should be washed outside of the machine by hand. The rest of the things throw in the machine. How to tackle stains or how to organize clothes, because after you've done the laundry, you need to put the clothes back into the wardrobes. How have the clothes been organized? So for me, in all the wardrobes, they are color coordinated. So there's blue, white, black. It's easy to follow and anybody can do it. This is one of the most important parts for me in my manual is safety and security. So I will read out some of the things that I have written here so that if you have the same concerns, you can add them to your own manual. Okay. Excuse me. Please make sure that you accompany the children when they go outside to play, or at least are aware of their whereabouts every 15 minutes. Now, 15 minutes is a long time for a child. They can actually be kidnapped and be very far away in 15 minutes. But if the housekeeper is constantly aware of where the child is, you don't just let the child play for 2 hours without you knowing where they are. That's going to be a danger. But if you get used to the where's the child, you step outside, you listen to where they are, you call their name, you know where they are, then even the people who want to kidnap the child know that there is a a time limit to when they can kidnap the child. You understand, yeah? Okay. Then the second one is please limit personal phone usage to essentials while at work. This is standard for every single workplace. My house is my housekeeper's office. It is not her home. So she needs to think of it as an office and behave accordingly. Do not allow children to talk to strangers on your phone, either through video or voice calls. I don't care if you're calling your mother. I don't care if you're calling your own child. Don't allow my child to speak to that stranger, because that is a stranger. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't want it. These are safety and security measures that I'm comfortable with. Okay. Number 4, do not take pictures or videos of my home or my children. Again, another safety measure. Do not share or post any pictures of yourself in my home or with my children on any social media networks, including WhatsApp. Just don't do it. In case of emergencies, there's a list of numbers on the fridge. Call those numbers in the order that they are written. You cannot have any visitors at the house. I don't care who the visitor is. You're not allowed to take my children off the premises. You cannot take my children out of my house without prior permission. Like you cannot take, I'm going to the shop, let me go with the children, or you have to ask permission to take my children out of the house. Confidentiality is highly expected. Do not discuss our family matters with others. Do not disclose my address or my children's school to other people. So these are the stuff that I have put in my safety and security section of the manual. And you can also add others. Are there any others that you guys think are important for me to add? Let me check the chat if there are any others. Other than that, yeah, these are the ones that I really find have worked well for me, because it's very easy for somebody to, take a picture of themselves. I don't post my home. There's sections of my home that I never post, and I wouldn't want to come onto social media or whatever it may be and see my house in its entirety, my children. So if you know the person who works for me and you see them with my children, you immediately know where I live. And I'm trying to keep that private. So, okay, no questions, even no suggestions of security. Let's see here, the chat. All right, let's move on. Number 6, time management. So please ensure what time that you want your housekeeper to be at work on or before every single day, and what time you need the person to clock off. and then you can play around with that every single day as well. What time you need dinner to be ready, or lunch or breakfast. And then I have another section, self-care. Personal hygiene is very important. So the person needs to be clean, like be kempt. Is that a word? Is kempt a real word? Sometimes I'm just make up my own things. Yeah, so the person needs to be well put together, clean, and just like you're going to any job, right? And then if you're feeling unwell, let me know. So I, as much as the next person, do not want a sick employee, because they might be contagious, and also they are not going to be doing their work well if they're sick. So they need to let me know so that I can plan for childcare if I'll be away, or I can plan to stay and take care of the children, so that they can go to the hospital. It's a communication area, and it only has one point. Messages and calls should be returned in a timely manner. I don't expect you to pick up your phone every single time I call. People go to the toilet. People are working in a different section of the room, of the house. But once you see my message or my call me back, send me a please call me, so that I can know immediately what's happening and I can give you the information that I need. Because sometimes I'm like, there's a delivery coming to the house and they're at the door. Can you answer the door? Okay. And then number 9, household management. So this one can have as many points as possible. It just depends on you. Some of the points on mine are: the green chopping board is only for fruits and vegetables, and the brown chopping board is for all the meats, and the wooden chopping boards are only for bread and cheese. So just such different things to make sure that your house runs well. Defrost meats in the morning, to cook in the evening. I used to have a housekeeper who would get frozen food out of the freezer and try to cook it immediately. Like, she forgets, or it's just not important for her to defrost the meat. But we know health wise, your meat should come to room temperature before you cook it. So it was very important for me to add that on that. And that's it for the manual. So are there any questions regarding the manual? Because now we're getting into the contract. And all these points, by the way, are the stuff that I do. This is not anything required by law. It's stuff that I do. Yeah, there's also a maximum amount of time one should work. Just because you can pay overtime doesn't mean they should work 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Absolutely correct. Actually, you could be sued for overworking people. Hi, Tawi. Yeah. It's always nice to have a family member on here. Guys, you guys don't have questions about the manual? I mean, it's just clear. Okay, so tell me, yes, it's very clear. I have no questions. And then we can move on to the contract. Everything is clear, very clear. All right. Okay. I don't know how to do a poll. I don't know if I can add some sort of poll. Oh, I can. I'm going to add: how many of you have had or have a contract? Okay, so please answer my poll, because I'm really interested in knowing. I've always had a contract from the first housekeeper that I've ever had. I've always had a contract. And I don't even know why I decided that way. I just wanted to run my house like an office, and I didn't want any wahala. So I've always had a contract. But I'm very interested to know how many of you who are watching right now have had a contract in the past, don't have. Okay, so while you guys are filling in that contract, I'm going to show you my contract here and what it entails. So Google basic nanny contract or basic domestic manager contract or basic housekeeper contract, and then add your own things. Some of the things that you want to consider. Sorry, excuse me. Are you paying your housekeeper daily rate? Like, are they a casual worker? Are you paying them a weekly rate? I'm currently paying a weekly rate because that is what my housekeeper prefers. So that is what we have come up with. There's a weekly rate. But the max for the month, the maximum does end up being above the minimum rate, which is 13,500. So are you paying your worker a daily rate, a weekly rate, or a monthly rate, which is a salary? You need to add that there. Are they a full-time employee? And if that, are you going to be deducting NHIF, NSSF, any of the other benefits? This is how you, and any of the other benefits like a 13th salary. You know, some people will pay a salary in December. That's twice the salary. Out of the goodness of their own heart. This is not anything that is required by law. If you are paying a salary and this is a full-time employee, there's some things that you need to consider. Number one, NSSF. NSSF and NHIF are deductions. It is not something that you pay your housekeeper. You deduct it from their salary and pay it into the NHIF fund or the NSSF fund. For the NSSF, it's 12% of their salary. So you deduct 12% of their salary. You do 6% from them and 6% from you. So if 12% of their salary, this is just a guess, is 1,000, you only deduct 500 from them and pay it into the NSSF fund. They need to, and then you need to add your own 500 on top of it and pay it into their salary. So into their fund. If you have decided that you're going to be paying NHIF, you need to do it like that, okay? For NSSF rather, for NHIF, you pay directly to the NHIF fund. It is not something you pay to your housekeeper unless you pay it to them and you write, this is for NHIF. So if you're paying between 15,000 and 20,000 and 19,999, the NHIF per month is 600. You can pay it via M-Pesa directly to the fund for their account. If you're paying between 20,000 and 24,999, again, this is easily Googleable. You just Google it, you put it in there, and it will tell you. You pay 750 shillings. So again, you divide this into half. If it's 600, you get 300 from them and 300 from you. Between 25, again, all the rates are there, so you can go check them out, guys. Yeah. So if you're paying it to her, you pay her salary and then the NHIF. Even if you pay it all together, you tell her this is your basic salary and this is your benefits, so that she knows that it's going towards her NHIF. I had a situation where my housekeeper was like, you haven't paid NHIF the entire time I've been working here, even though I was paying her more than what was written in her contract, because I assumed wrongly that she would be paying her NHIF on her own. She did not. And she was demanding the fee from me. I would add things like, if you don't, so this is for the security part, right? If you don't know something, ask, don't assume, especially regarding appliances. Yeah, also sticking to a simple steps laminated card to appliances for reminder and easy use. That's actually really useful. Destiny is asking, what about stuff like punishing the kids and language used and around the kids? Absolutely. You can add that to your manual for sure. What kind of punishment you prefer, or what can we call them instead of punishment? Disciplinary measures for the children that you can use, and the language that you expect your housekeeper to use. I had a housekeeper that I really did require her to speak with my children in Kikuyu as much as she possibly could, so that they could learn. Yeah, so you can actually add all that. Okay. So in the contract, you're going to say where they work. So your normal place of work will be blank. You add your address there. And I have also added in my contract, the employer reserves the right to change this to any other place within Kenya, either for a limited or indefinite period. I also expect my housekeeper to be able to travel with me. So obviously I give her some lead time, like I give her notice, we will be going to such and such a place and we would like you to accompany us for the period of the time that we will be going there. If I am going to visit my mom or I'm going for an event and I would like to go with her, again, I give her the notice. And as long as it is within her time period, then she would be required to be working as well. Okay, so then you list the duties again and the working hours. And then also if there are any half days, if there are any full days, if there are any statutory off days like public holidays. I give public holidays off, although some people like to give alternative days off. So not the public holiday, but a different day, because in the public holiday, that's when you need a nanny the most. So some people like to say, instead of the public holiday, I'm going to give you a different day. So you choose which day that will be. And then the public holiday, you come to work. So some people work like that. It's as long as you have agreed on it, it is not in breach of their rights. All right. And then there's also about the leave days. You're entitled to the leave days. And you with the pay, and then you can also say that you can collect your leave days and use them for another time, and how much notice you need for them to be able to take the leave, because telling me that you need the leave tomorrow is not going to work. I don't have enough notice to be able to get help, All right, and then termination of contract. So for me, my contract is 1 month's notice. So she needs to give me a month's notice that she will no longer be working for me, or 1 month salary. So if she tells me today that she wants to resign, she needs to work until the other month, or she needs to give me 1 month's salary in lieu of notice. Let's talk about discipline. Oh yeah, I was also talking about I wanted to cover having a payment record. Paying electronically is the best record that you can have, because it cannot be deleted. It is literally in your M-Pesa or your bank details how much you paid and when. So paying electronically is the best way that I can recommend. If you don't have that, and you pay by cash, go to Textbook Center and buy a petty cash voucher book, or a salary it's called a petty cash voucher book, or a salary payment book, or something like that. I think it's like 200 shillings, where you record the payment and they sign every single time they take the cash payment, because will need a record. You don't know, you don't think you'll need one, but when you need it the most, that is when you will realize, wow, I wish I had a record. Let's talk about disciplinary action. For me, our disciplinary action has to be against like it has to be written warning first, and then I would dismiss you. So, what are some of the things that warrant disciplinary action? Absenting yourself from work without leave or a lawful cause, endangering the well-being of children through neglect or avoidable circumstances, becoming intoxicated during work hours and therefore causing you to be unable to perform your work properly, willfully neglecting your duties, performing your work carelessly or improperly, using abusive or insulting language or behaving in a manner insulting to your employer or a person placed in authority over you by your employer. Knowingly refusing to obey a lawful and proper command within your duties issued by your employer or a person placed in authority over you by your employer. Like, I'm not going to I'm not going to clean your room. Hey, my friend, this is your notice. If you are arrested, okay, there's suddenly a lot of, can you hear that drilling sound in my background? I don't know what's happening in my house. Okay, if you are arrested for an offense punishable by imprisonment and you are not released within 14 days. I mean, if you're arrested, that's already like you're a criminal. So I'm just like, most workplaces would dismiss you if you were arrested. So yeah. If you commit or are suspected of committing a criminal offense that would harm your employer, his or her household, or his or her property, like theft. If you steal from me, I do not fire you. I call the police because that is a criminal offense. That has got nothing to do with my feelings or your job. If you steal, you will be under the law and literally under the consequence of the law. If you commit any act of dishonesty relating to your employer or her household, causing a disruptive influence in the household, incompetence, conduct during or outside work hours prejudicial to the interest or reputation of the employer, unreliability in timekeeping or attendance, failure to comply with instructions, requirements, or procedures, and breach of confidentiality. Another thing that you can add in disciplinary actions is what happens when somebody, through negligence or whatever it may be, destroys your property. A friend of mine was telling me that she recently told her housekeeper, if you break one more dish, I will take it out of your salary. And then the housekeeper stopped breaking her dishes because it was every single day something would be broken. So that's disciplinary action. If you break my dishes, I take it out of your salary. Breaking a dish here and there has got nothing to do with discipline, but if it's every single day, then that's a problem. And you need to figure out how you're going to deal with that. Again, when you're releasing a housekeeper, you should know that redundancy fees and benefits are not owed casual laborers such as housekeepers in Kenya. I think some laws would actually they're just not owed service or severance fees. You just pay them their dues, and yeah. All right. And that's it. That is it. Okay. Does your manual have written down menus, or the housekeeper has to come up with it? Yeah, I already mentioned that my manual does not have written down menus. And even in the manual, it is written that the housekeeper has to write her own menus and shopping lists. I don't write any menus. There's certain things that we prefer to eat, so she writes a full list of all the foods that we like to eat, and then she makes up the menu week by week. Another thing that we have been doing is having a weekly status meeting. So in the weekly status meetings, this is when I give all the kind of things that I want fixed, or I want you to do better in the coming week. Some of the mistakes that you made, I correct them, I guide you. And then in this meeting, you also give me the menu, you give me the shopping list, you tell me if there's any issues with the children, if you need anything to do the work. I'm finding the weekly status meetings so good and effective, because nothing, when you keep giving feedback every single day, like, why haven't you done this? Could you do this? I asked you to do this, da, 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 da. It becomes a bit tiring. It becomes tiring and awkward, and frankly, just not as effective as I would like. So in the weekly team meetings, that's what I call them, weekly household meetings, we can hash all those things out and nothing festers. Nothing grows and becomes bigger, or it's just a good time for everyone. I'm really loving them. Please tell us something about weekends off. What time do they leave? What time should they come back? Do they do something before leaving? Let's say maybe cleaning before they take their day off. Yes, so this is absolutely up to you. What time? I don't have any live-in nannies, and I haven't had for 9 years actually. I don't like a live-in nanny. That's my own personal preference. If you have a live-in nanny, you need to tell them what time, and you write it in the contract, what time they should leave and what time they should come back. And do all your duties before you go. Leave the house clean and food cooked. So if you need a meal prepared, for me, the housekeeper leaves on Saturday afternoon at 12:30. So before then, she has to have a meal prepared. She has to clean the house and put everything where it's supposed to be, wash the dishes, put away laundry, like nothing is left hanging for Monday. Everything has to be done before she leaves on Saturday, which she does very, very well before she goes. So write it in your manual, and also in the contract, so you have agreed and there's no, sorry, I'm late coming back on Sunday. And do people work Sunday evenings? Are you guys having your housekeepers work Sunday evenings when they come back? Maybe that's causing a bit of a rift as well, because if they start work on Monday, they can come back on Sunday as late as they want. And I'm still waiting for your... Oh, wow. So far, only 10% of you have a contract or have had a contract. That's interesting to know. Very interesting to note. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions here. Actually, there aren't. Okay, guys, that is it. That is the end of the info I had for you guys today. And if there are no other questions, see you next week. Bye, guys. I'll hang about and see if there are any other questions, but maybe not. Okay, I think we're good then. Right, bye guys. Thank you so much for joining and for engaging with me. Oh wow, 14%.